horror short story. Title: The Sleeping Picture. I couldn't get up this morning. I had been partially awake for quite a while. Eventually, I sat up and fell back down onto the cushion again. My stomach began growling now. I needed to get up to prepare myself some breakfast. Again, I tried to sit up. This time, I held myself steadied in this position. I stretched, burped to ward off the dizziness of the sleep. I kicked out of the blanket, slipped my feet into the slippers and stood up on wobbly feet. I pushed the curtains aside to reveal the day had started way earlier. Oh, it seems almost noon. How the hell could I have slept so much? No worries, it's a weekend. The window overlooked the busy streets down there. I stood there for a while, turning over in my mind the things that I had to do today. I had nothing to do today. A free day. I brushed my teeth over the basin. Then I took a shower to be afresh for the day. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am no way near to be a good cook like mom. I am used to eat whatever my mom will cook for me. I have a brother back home, still in high school. I have been working at a private hospital in Lahore as a nurse for around a year now. I have rented this house nearby the hospital. I walked into the kitchen. Forget about the breakfast, I told myself. Gone is the time of breakfast. So, I headed over to the refrigerator to see what's there. There's not much, considering I had not cooked all week, so I grabbed all the stuffs I needed from the refrigerator in order to make a sandwich. I walked to the pantry and opened it to look for the bread. Once I found it, I set it on the bar and began making my sandwich. I dragged a chair up to the kitchen table to eat my sandwich. I fished my phone out of my pocket. Instinctively, I went to my gallery. I stopped eating, my mouth fell wide open, shocked. Previous to the first picture on my gallery, was the selfie taken with my colleague last night at the hospital. But this first picture was of me, asleep. Who could take my picture while asleep? I had locked both my front door and room's door when I entered last night. Who could break in through closed windows? Is this the matter of worry? I thought it's not. I deleted the picture. I looked so bad while asleep. My new neighbor, Javed, came over to see my house for the first time at evening. Have you had dinner? I asked friendly. We have become quite friends after those handful of walks along the road at early evenings. He nodded. I had grabbed it from a near hotel, he said. I have brought you this. Have some, friend. He shoved a paper box across the table. I opened the box to a delicious smell of biryani. Javed was watching me while I was eating. I met your sister on the way in, he said, caught me holding my ball of biryani midway to my mouth. I thought you live alone. I do live alone, my friend, I said, between mouthfuls of biryani. I don't have a sister. In fact, I don't even have sister back home. He was clearly dumbfounded. Then who was she? You had texted me that your door was open. So I saw a girl coming out of your house. A girl coming out of my house. I hadn't noticed that. Then I thought she must have been lost and wandered into my house by mistake. You idiot, you scared me. She would have set her foot in a wrong house. He chuckled and for a moment I thought he was joking about this damn girl. Yeah, it's no big deal. I saw her and told you what I thought. And by the way, how old she seemed? I asked. Probably 17, 18. Javed went after having a cup of tea, and I became alone in the house. I turned on the TV, but couldn't kept it on for more than minutes. I turned off the TV and retired to the bed. I got up early next morning. And with hazy eyes, I groped for my phone on bedside table to see the time. There I found it. I flicked it open, and immediately looked away, because its brightness nearly blinded me. I rubbed my eyes to peel away sleeping effects completely. I opened the phone again. It feels better now. I entered the password and instantly a sudden jolt crept through my body like an electric shock. An unfamiliar grip of absolute fear began dancing in my head. I felt as if I was floating over the bed. 3 senses of my body started behaving weirdly. My ears began ringing. My hands felt shaky clutching the phone. The sight of my phone became farther and farther as if the person in the video is snoring across the room. This time, someone had recorded a video of me snoring. My lungs swelled _ my mouth wide open _ and then sank back in. Someone is just hiding in my house and getting me scared with these things, I thought. I wondered if Javed was doing all this. And is that why he made up the story of that girl? But I thought better of it. How could he break in with all those windows peacefully closed? I searched out all my room for someone who might be hiding in here, but to no avail. It was working day. I had got so tired doing 8 hours shift at hospital. It had been almost a month since after the video incident. I had somewhat managed to settle in my nerves. Even I had forgot of that unsettling experience. I was so tired today, that I had immediately fell asleep as soon as I hit the bed. My sleep could have been a peaceful one, because I had not noticed any movement around in my sleep. Something, or someone, was tugging at my toes. A wake-up call. I came, slowly, to my senses. My first sight was of the light gleaming over my head. Immediately, I blinked out of brightness and peeled my eyes away. I wanted to rub away my eyes. I tried to bring my knuckles to my eyes, but I couldn't bring them. Then tried the other hand but failed. Now I had wide awaken. I was surprised to see my hands tied to either side of the bed above my head with chains. I looked toward the door, but it was locked. And then I looked around the room. Nothing. Absolutely nothing is around me. What's wrong with me, I thought. How did I end up the way I am now? A figure. Then a figure. A feminine figure. Arose across the foot of the bed. Ever so slowly. As if making a show of it. Her hair disheveled about her head, giving her more of a creepy look. My head was throbbing. A hammer was being used inside my head. The rest of my body felt as if I had already lost its existence. And my mouth felt as though someone plucked my tongue out of it, making me dumb. Speechless. She walked around the end of the bed as if in slow motion. Her disheveled hair overshadowed her face. She loomed over me like a shaggy tree. She pushed her hair back off her face. Oh my god. No doubt she is 17-18. I felt as if I was hit with a shocking rock. She chuckled, then laughed hard, tilting her head backward as she did so. Her outburst into a laughter filled the whole room. She darted her head forward sharply, strands of her hair spread across her face again. She ran her fingers through her hair to sweep them back. You must be surprised that how I ended up in your room despite being closed doors. No, not surprised. It's a small word for this scenario. Shocked, she leaned over me. You remember me? She asked in a hushed voice as though there's someone to hear this. Yeah, how could I forget that face? I had seen it many times in newspapers. That face became the face of my nightmares. But I couldn't speak those words. Speechless. I will keep putting you through these tortures, she went on. Without this, how will I take upon my revenge? You can't get away your fair share of fright. Your share of nightmares. To be continued.